Hello, chúc mừng năm mới. Chúc mọi người một năm mới có thật là nhiều hạnh phúc, niềm vui và sức khỏe, và nhiều tài lộc nữa. Mình cũng đã có những ngày nghỉ rất là bận rộn nhưng mà rất là đầm ấm ở bên những người thân và gia đình của mình. Thì hy vọng là mọi người cũng đang hưởng cái thời gian tương tự. Còn nhưng mà thì năm mới cũng là bắt đầu với cả một phiên chia sẻ thì mình cũng đã có những cái đúc kết nhất định trong tuần vừa rồi. Mặc dù là thời gian khá là eo hẹp, tuần vừa rồi cũng phải vun vén một số việc nhưng mà đã có thể chia sẻ được vào hôm nay. Thực ra là mình trí nhớ kém lắm nên là mình cũng phải nốt ra. Nhất là một những cái cuốn sách mà có nhiều thông tin mà mình thì lại rất là hay thích đọc những cái cuốn kiểu vậy. Tốc độ đọc thì sẽ chậm thôi vì đầu mình khó xử lý một lượng thông tin lớn. Ờ, nhưng vẫn phải có sự chuẩn bị và nốt là một cái chuẩn bị khá là hữu hiệu. Hôm nay thì chúng ta cũng sẽ có Andy tham gia. Mình hẹn cô lúc 8 rưỡi. Chắc là cô cũng sẽ vào thôi. Múi giờ của Singapore thì hơn chúng ta 1 tiếng, nhưng mà bây giờ ở bên đó là 9 rưỡi. Chúng ta chờ cô một lúc. Nhưng mà không có cái đăng ký chia sẻ trong hôm nay, vì vậy nên sẽ chỉ có mình và Andy thôi. Nếu mà mọi người có đóng góp ý gì cho câu lạc bộ vào năm mới thì có thể để ở dưới phần comment.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Happy New Year. Lunar New Year. Yeah.
恭喜恭喜恭喜！
Because-
What do you say? What do you say in Vietnamese?
Chúc mừng năm mới.
Chúc mừng năm mới.
Yeah. Chúc mừng is like
恭喜
congratulations or happy, and năm mới is New Year. Yeah. Mới is new. So how do you say it in Chinese?
新年快乐
Yeah, I heard this phrase many times before, but never catch it.
So
When they
then
say it
after
on
we
the
say
news.
新年快乐 we also say 恭喜恭喜 It's like congratulations but like in a more joyous form 恭喜恭喜
So how do you celebrate New Year's Eve in Singapore?
New Year's Eve usually the dinner is the most important so it's like a reunion dinner, right? I'm not sure whether you do that in CAT,
Yeah,
but
we also do it.
same.
Yeah, the last dinner of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's usually with the family, like your closest family. So my dad, my mom, my sister, brother-in-law, my niece, and me, 6 of us, we went to a restaurant. And so we also had the tradition of lo hei. I think I mentioned this to you before. You know how you mix the stuff and then you use your chopsticks to push and bring it up as high as possible.
You mean it will fall back in the plate or
Yes,
it's everywhere?
it's also everywhere. I think I told you before, it's called lo hei. And
No.
usually this tradition is only in Singapore and Malaysia.
Yeah, you told me about this, and I was imagine about some like mix of vegetable in Vietnam, but not salad, just sour taste, and some sour taste and crunchy in your mouth. Yeah, that.
Let me
Yeah.
send you the photo. But this one it's the day it was taken 3 days before. So it was with my volunteer group, the Jane Goodall Institute.
Oh.
So we had a gathering for volunteers.
Oh, there's many people in the institute in Singapore.
We have about 50 volunteers, but only 30 people could come. Yeah, so the lo hei we do it vegetarian, and so it's basically all the vegetables, and we also use flowers, the edible flowers.
It's also everywhere. Oh wow.
It's everywhere. So once you toss it up, it's basically everything outside. It became outside the plate.
Wow.
But it was very fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
How was yours?
Mine was like casual dinner with family, nothing special, but it's special since yeah, New Year's Eve atmosphere is yeah, right around you, and uh, you can feel the urge to go to watch the fireworks when you're having dinner, but then I'll just leap my way through the, the fireworks moment.
Oh,
But
there's fireworks.
yeah, the fireworks. So there are also fireworks in Singapore, right? No?
The fireworks were only during National Day and I think New Year's Eve. That means the Western calendar. Yeah, because if the Chinese New Year or the Lunar New Year we have fireworks, then we should have it also for our other races, right? Like the Hari Raya for Malay or the Deepavali for our Indian friends. So usually they don't have fireworks. That's why it will be unfair if only the Chinese have fireworks but the rest don't have.
Well, if I'm Singaporean, I'm not consider not I would consider having a fireworks on Lunar New Year is fine because most of Chinese people there in Singapore, but then yeah, it's you can feel something missing when not having a fireworks on New Year's Eve. It's traditional.
I think they're just used to it because for the longest time in Singapore, we have the three main races, like the Chinese, Indians, and Malays. So it has been quite, common to not have fireworks because it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
But do Singapore have agriculture?
No more.
No more. Oh yeah, so there's no point in celebrate that calendar since only the farmer use that.
So
Yeah.
no, don't have.
Yeah, so yeah, it's relevant. Yeah, I can see the reason. So yeah, I'm still celebrating, and you too, right? You still
Yes.
meeting your families and relatives and friends.
Today I'll be going to my relative's house,
Uh,
and then we will do another reunion celebration.
oh, me too.
Is it?
There's Indian indicate that on the 1st of January in lunar calendar you visit relatives on father side, and the second day on mother side, and the third day visit your teachers.
We don't have visiting teachers, but we have visit friends.
Yeah, that's that's an idiom, but I rarely see anyone visit their teacher on the third day.
Because the Chinese saying is that your teacher is like your parents.
Oh yeah, uh, your king is first, and then your parents, and then the teacher. That's the
Yeah. So later,
Taoism. I mean, I believe.
you're going off for lunch, right, with your family?
Uh, there's. I see the picture you just sent.
With my niece. She's so cute.
Uh,
She's very adorable. She's 2 years old now.
but how many sibling do you have, or
One. One younger sister.
you have a younger sister?
Mm.
But
And
does she also like nature conservation or environment sector? No.
there's something I wanted to share, which is quite interesting. After our reunion dinner, it was Friday, right? Then we went. I was asking my sister, what do you want to do next? Because it's at night already. Then he said, oh, usually over the weekends, they will bring the niece to the arcade. Do you know arcade?
Yeah. Arcade is like in a shopping mall, like
Yes.
yeah.
You know, like I sent you the photo, right, of those machines that you play.
Uh-huh.
But the arcade also has a lot of other games, like all the electronic games, right? The shooting game, the racing game, the basketball game, all sorts of games. So, you know, the environment is very noisy and very flashy. All the lights,
Oh yeah.
very bright, and it was so loud. And then my niece and my sister and my brother-in-law were so funny. They went to different machines, they exchanged the money for the coins, and then they start to play a lot of games. I mean, if you look at it, it's fun. It's like a childhood kind of experience. You go and play when you're young, right? But then I was just watching my niece, like staring into the screens, and all the lights were in her face and all the sound. And she's only 2 years old. So I was just like, oh, like, I don't know whether every weekend when you do this, is it actually bad for her eyes and her ears and her sensory, because it's all so overwhelming. So it was very funny. I just casually, you know, my brother-in-law was with me. So I was like casually saying, oh, actually, you know, it'd be fun if I can, maybe one weekend, let's go out to a nature park. Let's go and maybe walk in nature, see some animals. And then his reaction was like, oh, yeah, sure, but not very enthusiastic. And then after that, I went to my sister, right? My sister was also next to me. So I was like, oh, do you want to like maybe find a weekend? We can all go to nature areas, see some plants and animals. It'd be quite fun. She's like, oh, let's see. So I was like, okay, bye.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can imagine. There are a few siblings that I see have the common hobbies or the common favorites. They just different, even though they're sibling, even though they are, the two people born at the same time. What do they
Twins.
call twins? Yeah. Even twins, they have not similar preference. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you want to add?
I just want to say it's not just about the preference, but that I was watching how, you know, taking care of the child, your children, your actions definitely influence them, right? Because from young, if my niece is being exposed to all this entertainment and extreme sounds and noise and visual, it's very hard for her to find calmness or, you know, quiet times, because she always needs to be entertained. Something must happen, something must be visually appealing and exciting. So I'm just slightly worried as the aunt, right, in terms of development of the child and her interests, you know. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, 2 years old is too small for the arcade. Too small.
Oh well. Okay.
Okay. Actually, I managed to read a little last week since was too busy, and then the holiday came and I just want to rest, and also visiting relatives and grandfather and grandmothers in the cemetery. Yeah. So did you do the same, visiting cemetery? Okay. No.
No, we only visit the cemeteries during there's another day for this. In Chinese it's called 清明节. It's usually in
Yeah, we also
July.
have it. Tangming is on the March
Right.
of Lunar New Year,
Oh,
lunar
March.
calendar. March, yeah.
Yeah, so it's usually that period of time, not during New Year.
Yeah. But, do you have the same moment, the same day?
I think it's the same day because we all follow the lunar calendar.
Oh, yeah. I don't
Yeah,
know
so there's
lunar calendar involved in this, since Is cemetery not agricultural involvement?
Let me just quickly check, but I believe it's the same.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I think I'll share first.
Yeah. Okay. So Qingming is on April the 4th this year.
April.
So I think it's the lunar calendar because it is the same for China, Malaysia, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines. They're all the same.
Oh yeah. And also, I just noticed that the lunar calendar not only to calculate the crops growth, but also they used to measure time as well. There's only calendar in the eastern country.
Right. Okay. So let me just do my sharing. The book that I was reading is called In Search of the Red Egg. So like last week, I was talking about how this author went to find the orangutans.
Yeah.
And I really like to start to read this book because it's about adventure, about experience in the jungle, not just about research or scientific data.
Oh, wait, now let me find. I think I brought the card game here.
And if you don't mind, I will go for a very quick 1 minute break. I need to go to the washroom.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, the card game. Yeah, you can draw it at the end of the
Oh, you're
session.
muted.
Actually, I brought
You're
it.
muted.
Actually, I brought it from rented apartment. It's quite far from here. I'm at my parent house.
You brought it from your apartment?
Yeah, I brought it. Yeah, I forgot it, and then on the New Year's Eve, and I think I won't come back to that apartment until 6th of January, and I'll have to make a
Special trip.
make a reason for me to come back. And then I was visiting a relative on the other side of the lake. Then yeah, it's around the West Lake in Hanoi. It's quite big lake, and you have to travel around 17 or 18 kilometers to go around it.
Wow.
Yeah. And runners usually choose that path to run because yeah, it's quite fresh there. Then the traffic was jammed heavily. I have to make a detour through that apartment, and yeah, I was riding with my sister, and she also agreed that she don't want to get stuck in ocean of people. And
Ocean of people. How about a lake of people?
a lake of people. Yeah, that was chaos. That was chaotic because the trail that we took, there's many temple and pagoda, and people usually go to temple and pagoda on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the same for Singaporean also.
Yes.
Okay. Did you
Very crowded.
did you go to temple, any temple? Or
No.
no?
You know,
Yeah.
I really don't like crowded areas, and I had a bad experience one time during the crowded areas, as in a crowded temple during the Lunar New Year, because a lot of people are holding the incense, right, the joss sticks,
Uh,
the burning joss sticks. So I had a very bad experience of being burned by the joss sticks because it was so crowded. And yeah, since then I really don't like to be there.
yeah, and also you also, I think you remember what happened in Korea last last year or 2022.
Yes,
Yeah,
the Stampede.
yeah. Also a fair, then people just.
I think it was Halloween, October.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
2022. Yeah,
it was terrible. Yes.
yeah. So that's give me trauma to go to crowd place.
Yeah.
And also I also believe in Buddhism, but
Mm.
Buddha is in your heart. Uh, that's uh, that's what I learned from reading Buddhism. I believe he's not a entity to worship. He's he's in within our heart. Like we, everyone can become Buddha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I believe that. So the pagoda is not the place for me, but temple it is because temple worship someone who maybe in the legend or
Mm-hmm.
maybe someone who actually from the past and
Yes.
they made remarkable achievement
Contributions. Yes.
contribution. Yeah. Okay, continue sharing of your story. I would like to hear more about the incredible author who follow the orangutans.
I think what's yeah. So when I was reading the book, I realized that when it comes to topics that I'm very interested in, I read very fast. But of course, when I'm not very interested in a topic, I read very slowly. So it it only it didn't take me a long time to finish one chapter. I was surprised when I finished 20 pages in like 10 minutes. I was just reading, reading, reading. I was like, finished. And then I went to look at how many pages I read. I was like, wow, so fast. How did that happen? And so that was one fascinating thing I realized. Yeah. So then I went down, I wanted to share more about this first chapter, which actually very aptly says, oh, you can't see. The adventure begins. I really like the title because as I was sharing with you last week, I was like, I want to listen to the adventure. And then I didn't realize that, hey, the first chapter also says the adventure. So the expectations of a reader was being satisfied by the author. um, okay, so this chapter was interesting because it shares the story or the experience of starting an adventure, right? What do you need? Before an adventure, you need the idea of wanting to have the adventure. So, how did this author thought about going to Borneo to look for orangutans? He is from the UK, and so it's a very different environment from the tropical forests of Asia. But he shared that during his university days, there was a period of time that he needed to do internship. So he actually went to Africa with Dr. Jane Goodall. Remember, I was talking about Jane Goodall for her chimpanzee work in Africa, and it just feels like a full circle, right? The last book I read was about Jane Goodall's chimpanzees, and then now I read about this intern, this person who actually went over to Jane Goodall field site, and this UK British guy, he's actually interested in insects. So he started to want to go to Africa at Dr. Jane's field site to look for insects. But of course, in the process of it, he saw the chimpanzees and he was mesmerized by these apes because they are just so human-like and he has never seen them before. So then after he came back from Africa, went back to the UK, he became more fascinated with the great apes. And then he realized that chimpanzees, gorillas, gibbons, the apes, they have been pretty well studied. That means there's good attention to do research on them. But it's the orangutans that nobody is really doing work. And so when he looked on his books and all, he realized that orangutans, there was only one previous study. And the study was only very limited because the researcher cannot really track the animal. And so it became this mystery animal, which is like red in color, big in the forest. Like, how is that possible? Because all the other apes that he has seen are all black in color or gray. So how is this red color animal surviving in the jungle? So then that's the idea. He had that idea that he wanted to do this in Borneo. The next thing came, which is about finding money to do it. Because after all, he just graduated from university and he doesn't have funding to do this work. So he needed to persuade the university or external funders that this is something very important and is needed. If he doesn't have the money, he can't actually go because it's very expensive at that time to fly. And so he managed to go and find Oxford University and France and other external funders to give him the money to make the trip. Next is you have the money, but you need to have the permission, the permits to actually do the research. So then in Borneo, where the orangutans are found, they are found in two countries, Malaysia and Indonesia. So then in Indonesia, at that time, it was still quite politically unstable. And so for a foreigner to go there is not wise. So then he decided that Malaysia, Borneo would probably be a better choice. And so he got all the paperwork done and all the helper that he needs because he needs to get the local researchers, local rangers and community to help. So then he managed to get that as well, flew over to Malaysia, Borneo, which is Sabah, and then started his work. So this is another point whereby I realized is also quite interesting because the field site that he went to in Sabah was very close to where I went to last year. So like when he described his journey, even though this one was like in the 60s and 70s, right? And I went only last year, there's already 40 years of a difference in the area. But still, when he described how he reached the site, he made the arrangements, those towns and cities that he visited, they were all like in my journey as well. So it was very interesting to see, at that time in the 60s and 70s, his experiences and compared to my experience. Yeah, so basically this first chapter was all about this journey. And I guess that's why I read it very quickly. How, his determination and his resourcefulness to actually get all the funding and permits to go over to Borneo all the way from UK. Yeah, so that was just the first chapter. I mean, the second chapter, I briefly look at it, is about a hostile world, meaning it's like a very challenging area that he's going to go into. So then again, I'm very excited for this because I understand how difficult it is to do field work in tropical areas, especially if you are a tall Englishman, right? For us, I think not you, you're very tall. For me, like a short Asian woman, it's easier for me to be in the jungle. Like I can really move around quite easily. But already for me, it's difficult, right? Because you have swampy areas, you have really humid conditions. You might have to escape from the thunderstorms or very sunny conditions. So for him, I think I can expect to read about the challenges and obstacles along the way. So I'm pretty excited. And just a glimpse, he had some photos of the orangutans that he met. So like the mom and the baby and then the adult. I'm pretty excited to read more. Yeah, that's it. You're still muted.
Is he? Is, so I think you read a lot of pages, and you may reach the part where he described more about his journey, right? So I can only hear about the challenging, like the adjective, but not what he experienced. What did
The
he?
first chapter?
Uh,
The first chapter, I think the
first
challenges.
chapter. First chapter is has so many pages.
Yes, because the first chapter talks about the beginning of the idea. You know, how do you choose where to go, what to do, how to do it, when to do it. So the details in the planning stage took a long time because, you know, I guess you and I who know about field work and all the preparation, the teamwork that's needed, understand that this kind of planning can take a long time. Especially when you think about it, he's in the 1960s when he does this planning. There must be a lot of things that he needed because there's no internet, right? And so, in order to get all the information, he needs to maybe make phone calls, write mails that take a long time to go to Indonesia or Malaysia to confirm where the place he needs to go. So that's why I guess just now, right, there was one moment when I wanted to say he was looking for his books for references. I almost said he looked for internet for references. I was like, no. At that time, like, there wasn't that convenience. And so I guess I also, like you said, right, I begin to appreciate how things are being done more quickly today because we're able to access all this information, make the communication so quickly.
Yeah. Yes.
Why is this a moment of silence from you?
So, but can he see the orangutan right away? Did you read to that part, or he has to travel through jungles to?
He traveled for a very long time, but then he first went to a rehabilitation center. So before he went to the wild, he went to the rehabilitation center to see the orangutans that were rescued and under human care. So these orangutans, because they have been pets before, unfortunately, many of them cannot be released back into the wild and they depend on humans. And the thing was that when he arrived at the site, the orangutans that he met have been so used to humans that they were just kind of running towards him, the orangutans, holding his hand, asking for food. So when I read that part, I was a little bit sad. I don't know. It's just majestic animals like them becoming reliant on humans and needing the help of humans just makes me feel very depressed. But also, coming back, I understand that they are rescue animals. So, instead of being in cages somewhere, they are now in the rehab center. So actually, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But it's just the description of how the orangutans are running to him and holding his hands just doesn't feel very right. So yeah, it ended around there. He just said that he described his experience seeing the orangutans for the first time, and it wasn't what he expected, which is in the wild and like very mysterious, could be dangerous, things like that.
Yeah. So at that time in the local area, there's also people who care about orangutans, study them or rescue them. No.
The rescue center was set up by a foreigner. But the foreigner, I think he worked with the Indonesians. Malaysians, sorry, the Malaysians, the authorities to set up the rescue center because also he needed a permit, right, to set up a rescue center. But the locals, they have long known about the orangutans and they called orangutan the mawas. I think mawas, I forgot what it meant, but it's a bit like a man of the jungle, and there were a lot of folklore about orangutan, like the beliefs, and there was also a part about describing the folklore, which is how the orangutan is the strongest in the forest, and no other animals can actually kill it. And there were villagers that said that, you know, they saw the orangutans actually killing a crocodile.
Wow.
And that's amazing, right? So like, I mean, the description was that the orangutan was tearing apart the mouth of the crocodile when the crocodile was trying to eat the orangutan. Things like that. So they have this in awe of like the orangutan being very powerful. But unfortunately, at that time already, they have said that deforestation is reducing the habitat, and the orangutans are either captured for the pet trade or killed in the process. So it's very hard to read this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad that you mentioned it. It cleared my concern because you also said that there was not many research paper on orangutans at that time. But then there's already a rescue center of foreigners set up in the local. So I believe there must be orangutan must be an important figures or sacred animal or some. So the local support the establishment of that rescue center. Well, deforestation is not something that scientists can decide. People can also see the forest is degrading or losing.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
So yeah, I think the local also know how to protect their sacred things. So that's a good start for our author, since he has help from the local already. Some
Yep.
support. Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I thought like for him as a foreigner coming from so far away and in the 60s, he managed to get all the things that he needed. At least from the first chapter, it seems like he got everything in ready. Like he even described going to the hospital and the clinic to get all his vaccinations, his medications.
Oh, yeah.
And when he left the hospital, he has 2 big bags of medications for any disease that he can think of when he's there. So that's why like this chapter, I read, I don't know, like 20 pages, but it's only in the planning stage. There's so many things that he needed to do, but I could relate to it so much. So it was fun.
Well, can I send pictures in the chat?
I think you can.
Okay. In the chat. I mean, I cannot paste the picture.
I think it's you have to
when you
send a file.
Yeah, you have to send a file.
Or you can send
on WhatsApp. Yeah,
yes.
You can send it from the temporary memory. I don't know what it's called, but when I use the clip snipping tool, and then I can paste it. You know the guy I sent to WhatsApp?
Which guy?
I sent to WhatsApp. Yeah. Do you know him?
Wait, let me see. No.
You know, don't. Okay.
No,
but,
I don't. I don't
but
know him.
he actually have you as his friend on Facebook. I don't know. I met him on the training for communication in civil society organization in the Indo-Burma
No,
region.
but we are not friends. You see, we are not friends. It only says add friend because we are not friends yet. Yeah.
Oh, so I don't know why on Facebook you become his mutual friends and become our mutual friends. Yeah.
Oh, that's weird because here we are not friends.
So it's weird. Yeah,
Is
just
there
to
a
clear
fake
it out.
account somewhere?
Yeah, but he also talked about you, so I think
Really?
he know him. Yeah,
How? You met him, you say?
yeah. He said that you very energetic and smart, but I think you must know him. Yeah.
When did you meet him?
Well, I met him on the training in Laos in January.
This last month?
Yeah, last month.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I must have met him then.
Maybe in a conference or workshop.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Must be.
So it was a brief moment that even you cannot recall.
I have very bad memory.
Yeah, I too have bad memories. But when I memorize someone like you, so I may not forget.
Okay, I must commit to my memory also. Oh, you have a
Yeah,
piece of white hair on your head. Here, I can see.
you can.
Sorry, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was about to share my readings.
Yes.
My sharing about the book that I'm reading, Vietnam cultural history, is actually just complement my understanding about ancient or maybe feudal Vietnam. Uh, it's about the villages. So in the ancient time, villages in Vietnam are just a small population and scatter across the country. But there's also an insight about it, and the author pointed out. I think it's interesting. Since the king cannot what do you say, like force any law at the village base, village unit. So the people in the village has their own policy to operate, and it cannot be interfered by a national policy. And then there's some corruption, I believe, in within each village, but mainly it was the wealthy, yeah, also the wealth take charge of many things, and they manipulate things, which make disadvantages to the farmer, or yeah, the poor. So in Nguyễn dynasty, until Nguyễn dynasty, there's the change in how the king governed the group of villages, that he and the French. That's also the time when the French was colonized our country, and they also agree that to unite or make the villages autonomous, there must be a big village. Big village means more contribution from the people to their infrastructure and the public service. So uh, there's a merge, or the combining process that gather small villages to big villages. and change the condition where you can establish a village, like I shared with you last week. Big villages, they will have more public contribution, or in the nationwide it's called tax. But yeah, on a village scale, it's just the annual contribution, or yeah, contribution based on whether you are male or you have land. Big villages, so they have their own, you know, governance entity, where with big villages there less work to do, because usually in the past or even today, if you have more work in a district, you will have more paperwork to do. But now all the small villages or work combined into yeah, big work, and then you don't have to you know, makes a record on, you know, different villages, and just yeah, the main one. And yeah, less paperwork, and also the the contribution is in a large volume, so they can invest in renovating the road or building, yeah, public infrastructure, like school or the hospital. So that's the big change, and that's something to take note, since you know that I also mentioned about the manipulation of the wealth, and to prevent it, in the past, previously, the, the government just avoid big villages because they think big villages will make it worse. But then, yeah, there's an like opposite idea about gathering small villages, and it works. It works until today. Even today, it's still relevant in that that analogy, and I think it's interesting. And the second thing I want to share is about the concept of nation in Vietnam. I never think of it before. Never think of this. I always think that we are a united nation in the past, and then the Chinese came, and then the French came, and then the US came. But we on the author interpretation, is that the word? Okay.
Interpretation.
Yeah, interpretation.
Interpretation.
Interpretation. The author said that Vietnamese don't have the clear concept of nation, because yeah, I also mentioned, and I also know about the scatterness, or very cascaded of village across the country, and they have their separate policy, very different from villages to villages. And even when we call a dynasty at the time, like Van Lang or Olak is the name of our old dynasty, but in the mind of the people, they always know only their village. They don't care about what happened outside. So I think no, the other thing that Vietnamese don't have a clear concept of nation, and until the Chinese came and become a district of China, we become district of China. Then also, yeah, we don't have a clear concept of nation. But until the 19 no no the 938 years before century, then there's the person who had success in the revolution and can set the name for our nation, and that's the start of when Vietnamese has a clear concept of nation and how to run it. It's flourished up and from that point then, and you will find it interesting when you read about Vietnamese history. And I think it's true in some way. Like when you have an explanation or in the aspect from the aspect of national why, what's happened in national why, not in the village why, and then that's probably true about Vietnamese don't have a clear concept, but then there's so many things happen at that time where we also part of the Chinese from a very long time, and then they set their government in our country, and then it's called a district, of China. But then in nationwide, you can say that Chinese don't have a clear concept, but I think we still have independence preference at some way. But when a person success in the ninth century in his revolution and unite the people, then it become more clear. And I think that's the great analogy. I never think of it before. So that's all my sharing for today. It's quite hard for me to share it in English, but I did. So I
You did.
yeah.
That was brilliant. It was very easy to understand also.
Yeah, but yeah, how can I talk more fluently when even in Vietnamese I cannot talk about this easily?
But it was very clear.
Thank you. Well, not very professional level of English, but understandable.
Do you have to do it in Vietnamese now, or?
I think usually we only have 2 or 3 people watching our sharing session, so I don't mind. Maybe they know English, since they can watch. Most of our session is English, so yeah, don't worry. Yeah, whenever someone comment about I have to share it in Vietnamese, and I share, but not today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I hope in the new year I will set up a local reading team or offline reading team. So I will introduce them to you, and I will advertise that this is a great way for you to study English, learn English, and maybe Chinese also. There's many people.
Japanese too.
Japanese too, yeah.
To French.
Yeah, I encourage people to share in different language in my club. our club, since you can retranslate it in you can translate it in Vietnamese later, and I want to make the languages or also a subject to learn to to communicate in our session, our club. Okay, do you have anything more to add to my? No.
No, I just thought it's very interesting to read about what you mentioned. I mean, listen to what you said about the concept of nation and how, you know, you started from maybe only caring about your immediate surroundings to thinking about your community to then think about your fellow citizens, and then the concept of the boundaries. Where do you stop? Where do you draw the boundary? Like once you have your family, your immediate community, your, citizens, how come there is a clear line between yourselves and the foreigners or, a certain race? I don't know. So it just draws the concept of boundaries. Where do you draw the boundary, and how do you ensure that everybody also feels the same as you? Because if you think that this is the boundary for nation, but other people felt like the boundary of nation should be smaller or bigger, maybe that's where the war happens, right? Then you have like conflicts and all this fighting. Yeah, that's my reflection.
Interesting. Interesting that I always doubt about what we have today in governance or management in general of the nation is unclear to my mind previously. So how can things develop into this state? But then you look at the history, and then some, not just history, but some author who have a really useful or useful and also clear insight of what's happening, and you can say that this is the right time and the right moment where things happening, and everything has the reason, but you have to look deeper into things to understand. Well, I actually don't think that my concern is also other concern, but I have to clear my head whenever I feel very hazy or vague understanding of a subject, and it's happened to be happened to involve my patriotic.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you love your country?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, and I think this is a great feeling to have. Like but of course that doesn't mean that I am, as in like, to have the patriotism.
Patriotism, yeah.
Patriotism, I don't know what's that word again. To have that doesn't mean that you have to alienate other people. That means it's not built upon making foreigners or like, pushing away external people to say that we are then the closest, or we are, like this is me, this is that. But more like the immediate environment that I live in, with the political and geopolitical boundaries that were given to me. I feel very aligned with the cultures, the practice, the things that I want to do here, and the things that I can contribute here. So the alignment makes me feel patriotic. Yes.
Yeah. Alignment. What a great way to put things. Alignment.
Yay.
Let me draw a card to end this session?
Sure.
Wait. This small
Small.
deck is already drawn.
Okay.
I think I owned you 3 cards,
Oh no!
right?
It's not
Right?
more
Yeah.
than that. I think more than that.
More. Okay. Since last month, maybe 5.
Yes, exactly. So
Maybe
it's okay. We can pace ourselves. We can do 2.
pace ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite song to dance to? I don't know if you dance,
I don't dance.
so we can skip this. I don't dance too.
What a way to finish your question. Just don't answer.
I don't have anything to answer. Funniest memory.
Funniest?
Yeah, funniest.
Funniest? Can you go first if you have? Let me think. Funniest?
Funniest. I mean, the most joyful there is when I went to the water park with my friends when I was in high school. It was a very fun moment when that's the trip, maybe the first trip that you make on your own with your
But
friends, and
is it
never.
is
Oh
it
yeah,
funniest memory or is it funny? As in like funniest memory or fun memory? Because they are
funniest,
different, right?
funniest,
Funniest in the sense of
funniest.
hilarious.
He, yeah, but I said that only the joyful moment that I remember, not funniest moment. I cannot think of funniest moment.
I want to think of the funniest because that's what the question is about. I must stick to the question's requirement.
Yeah, that's why you're good
Funny.
at school, then I'm not. Since you,
Yeah, you're not answering the question.
yeah, not answering
You
the
just give
question.
the answer that you want.
No, that's the only thing came to mind. Not sure I want to share that.
Let me see. Funniest. Can you go to the next question before I remember my first answer?
Well, funniest must be a moment where I laugh hysterically and cannot stop. That's maybe the funniest moment that I had it in many times in the past, which I cannot recall every of them, or maybe too busy to laugh or to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I didn't commit them to my memory.
yeah. So maybe we skip this.
This is the funniest memory.
Yeah.
If you can't answer, you just skip it.
Worst
Okay.
fashion mistake.
Oh, worst fashion mistake. I think I can think of the prom night. Prom night for
Prom
me.
night. You went to prom.
Because in high school graduation, there will be prom nights. All the high school in Singapore.
That's that's the only thing you want to share. Nothing else.
It's about fashion disaster, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but can you be more specific?
I remember the only thing because I can remember is that I actually have a photograph of it. How disastrous the outfit is. So it's not forever in my storeroom. I think I remember I wore something pink. It's not the color that is a mistake, but that I I don't know how to describe it. Like it's a strapless dress,
Uh-huh.
but I think I actually did some alterations to it. That means I changed how it originally looks like because maybe it's too big for me. But I should have gone to a seamstress to actually do it professionally. But I sew it myself. So I think it was a disaster. Yep. Yes.
So my my worst fashion mistake is not about when I look back, it's bad. I still want to wear it, but I wear it uh, when I was with someone I love and respect. Then
Oh no!
and it makes them feels like not important, because
What do you mean by you love and respect your lover?
yeah. Yeah, I was dressed and go out with her with my regular outfit at home. So with my shorts and the silly t-shirt, but yeah, I was not good looking at the time, you know.
But how do you know it's not good looking? Maybe it's okay to her.
It's okay to me, but then after she reminds me of how silly I was. So yeah, I know that I maybe not not respect her in visual way. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, yeah. Since yeah, she says setting right because I think whenever you dress, you want others to feel
Yeah, it's a form of
something.
respect, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
amount
form
of
of
effort that
respect.
you put in.
Yeah, so that worst fashion mistake is not the thing that to my liking is bad, but to others' preference or maybe yeah, social norm is bad. Okay,
Understand.
so the because we skipped two, so we have to draw two more. The strangest thing someone has said to me.
I remember one time, I think it's strange because I was in a meeting in a conference room in a nature park. There was one event. So then there was this person next to me, sitting next to me. After the event ended, he said, "Oh, we can walk to the bus stop together because I know you always take the bus stop to go back from this bus stop." But in my mind, I was thinking, I've never met this person. How would he know that I take this bus to go home?
Ah.
But never mind. So we continued to walk towards the bus stop. And when he said goodbye to me, he said, "Bye, Amanda." Um,
Ah.
Amanda? I'm Andy. And then he's like, "Oh my God, you're not Amanda."
Ah.
What happened was,
It's
in
good when you.
Singapore, there are only very few people who studies monkeys. Maybe three people. Three people study monkeys, and three of them, as in three of us, we're all female. And of these three of us, one is an Indian. The name is starting with a J, so it's not A. The other two women who study monkeys are both Chinese, about the same height, about same look, and our name starts with A. So one is Andy, one is Amanda. I think this person thought that I was Amanda that he knows, but he doesn't know Andy.
Ah.
So he assumed I'm Amanda, and we started to walk. He walked me to the bus stop, thinking that I'm Amanda, his friend. I then reminded him that I'm not Amanda, I'm Andy. It was the strangest thing that happened to me, but it was hilarious. And what happened was that a few years later, I met Amanda. I mean, I'm actually friends with Amanda. We met somewhere in Japan for a conference, or I don't remember where. That's when he told me that people call her Andy.
What? But do you guys look alike?
I think, yeah, sort of. Maybe I can find her photo.
Okay.
Um, but I think what's interesting also because in the world of primatology, there are very few Singaporeans. So, very few Singaporeans, female primatologists who has the name with A and about the same height, same hairstyle. I can see why people mistake us.
Okay.
Let me show you a photo. Um, Maybe I can share screen. That will be easier.
Um,
Okay, share screen. That's very funny. Oh, you have disabled screen sharing.
Oh, so maybe share on WhatsApp?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. But anyway, that was the funniest thing. Strangest thing someone said to me.
Well, for my part, strangest thing people said to me is not happened one time. It's happened many times.
Oh no, what happened?
Yeah.
Why?
They want to know about how big is my dick.
Oh no, why?
Yeah, because they thought a big person has a big dick, and
Oh
then
dear.
they just ask it
That's just
straight to me. So I think it's weird. I don't like that question, but yeah, that's strange, and it happens multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's very multiple times. By males or by female?
Of course, male. Female would never do that.
Oh, you never know.
Would never do that to my visual.
Your face.
Yeah. Maybe said it out loud.
Right.
But they may be wondering. Yeah. But that's strange. Yeah. Someone said to me, that's the question, right?
Okay, I sent you the photo already.
Send photo. Yeah, she may look alike as some aspect. But Amanda, I thought about someone who happened to be an European. Amanda.
European?
Yeah. Amanda. Yeah, but the Chinese take any English name
English
they like.
names, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, Amanda.
Yeah,
look alike. Yeah.
But one thing unique about her that's different from me is she has a mole here. So that's the distinguishing feature.
Yeah.
She has one dot here.
Okay. So I think we reached the end of our session, and I'll draw more cards on the next session. Maybe
Okay.
two more.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. So do you have any plan today that not involving works?
Actually, I think a lot of the festivities and holidays that happen, right? Say New Year's Eve, the Western calendar, Christmas, or Good Friday, things like that.
Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Valentine's Day is not a holiday.
Yeah, not holiday.
I'm talking about public holidays. So all these holidays, I've always been working, like meaning I will still treat it as a normal day to work. But then typically for Lunar New Year, I will commit myself to say I will not work. I feel like I need to take a break. Yeah. So I won't be working. Hopefully I keep to my promise.
What is your finger doing?
Huh?
What is your finger doing? This is to break a promise.
No, this is to fingers crossed.
Finger crossed is not to break but to commit.
Yes. Or more like you hope. Fingers crossed. So I always do that when I say please, fingers crossed.
Let me. I remember in the movies, Hollywood movies, I saw people make that sign, but at the back. So it makes me have the impression of they're not committing to what they're saying.
No, I know what you mean. When I tell something and I cross something behind, it means that I'm saying a lie, right?
Yeah.
But no, so this is fingers crossed, like hopefully yes. But then I also know what you mean by the fingers crossed. What is the other one?
Yeah.
But yeah, fingers crossed just means I hope it happens. Yeah. What's the meaning of it? Hope for good luck. Yes. Yeah.
So I don't know what is the similar sign behind your back. What does that mean? Maybe when it's from the back, then it's a lie. But when it's from the front, it's the commitment.
Where crossing your fingers for luck is a way to ask God for protection. Crossing your fingers behind your back when you tell a lie could mean you're asking for God's forgiveness.
Asking for God forgiveness.
Yeah.
Not-
So, the use of the gesture is often considered by children as an excuse for telling a white lie. By extension, a similar belief is that crossing one's fingers invalidates a promise being made.
So
Yeah.
maybe
So this actually means if you do it in fun, it's like you want to promise a good luck. But when you do it behind, it's like you ask for forgiveness that you are saying something wrong. Because it originates from asking for good luck from God.
wow.
Mystery solved. Wow.
Yes. The more you know, it's great. Thank you, Andy. So I think I have a place to go now.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll see you next Sunday.
Alright.
And,
Happy chúc mừng.
Chúc mừng năm mới.
Năm mới.
What do you say in Chinese?
新年快乐。
新快乐。
恭喜恭喜，拜拜。
Yeah, bye. And do tell me when you have a plan for going to Vietnam.
Yes, private watching.
Yeah, private watching. I don't know if I can join you, but I can only answer when 5 days before. So I know
Why 5 days?
I know my schedule then. I don't make schedule too far ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a bad planner.
Fingers crossed then that you can make it.
Where's my cat? Yeah.
Ciao.
See you.
Bye.
Ok, cũng đã đến cuối của phiên chia sẻ rồi. Vậy nếu các bạn có bất cứ comment hay là góp ý gì, các bạn có thể để ở phần phía dưới. Còn bây giờ thì chúc mọi người có một kỳ nghỉ vui vẻ. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người vào 9 giờ tối mai.